So, Glenn, you tweeted that we have good news this morning to talk about. I assume you were talking about the epic smackdown, first of all, of Donald Trump about his records. So he has 2 weeks, right, to go to the Supreme Court. But as someone else was saying, I obviously want your opinion. If the Supreme Court considers this for 2 seconds, like, we have no constitution, do we? This case is ridiculous.
The Supreme Court should absolutely reject review of this case. There's no constitutional issue to be decided, and there is no dispute between the branches of government because Congress wants the records, and the executive branch, it was Joe Biden's decision to make, wants to give over the records. There's nothing for the Supreme Court to resolve. And here's where I find hope on the Supreme Court front. I don't often utter that phrase.
Yeah.
So the Supreme Court on presidential power and on the presidential election has actually been pretty good, because they refuse to review all those bogus court challenges filed by Donald Trump's corrupt lawyers, Rudy and the Kraken lady. They wouldn't take review of those. And then on the presidential power front, when Donald Trump tried to say, I'm a king, you can't have my financial documents, the Supreme Court said, you're not a king, you got to give them over. So on this front, the Supreme Court has been strong. I do not think they're going to accept review.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay. So, I mean, but he's going to wait because delay is always his game, right? Till the end of the 2 weeks. And then how long does the Supreme Court have to, how long do you get to reply? So he'll wait the 2 weeks to ask, right?
Yeah, we're going to hear very quickly, I predict, that they are rejecting review of the case. Now, if they accept review, they can do it quickly, just like they did in 1974, right, with the Nixon subpoena challenge. And if they do it quickly, we could get a decision out of them soon. But I just want to read one sentence, Steph, from what the federal judges said about, when they were rejecting Donald Trump's claim yesterday. And Steph, this is the very court on which Merrick Garland sat for 24 years. These are his colleagues. Here's what they said. They said, lives were lost, blood was shed, portions of the Capitol were badly damaged, and the lives of members of the House and the Senate, as well as aide staffers and others who were working at the building, were endangered. There is a direct linkage between the former president and the events of that day. Can I paraphrase? This is Merrick Garland's former judicial colleagues saying, lock him up.
Wow. Oh, I just got a little chill up my spine. Yeah, you said chalk up another loss for Donald Trump. He's very likely to set a record for the most court losses in history, a biggest loser of sorts, though he often seems to succeed at the war of attrition. Let's hope the courts don't allow him to weaponize the delay again. But you seem to echo, Glenn, what a lot of other legal experts are saying, that not this time. It doesn't look like, as you're saying, I think the Supreme Court is, expeditiously going to say, forget it, right?
It's finally coming home to roost. The walls are closing in, and I think Donald Trump is about to sort of reach the end of his rope, and that's a good thing for all of us.
Do you agree with John Dean, who he said the definitive ruling can't be overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court? To take the case only to delay for Trump is to ask for the wrath that will destroy the court after eviscerating Roe v. Wade. I predict the 1-6 committee gets the docs within 3 weeks. Game over. Trump lost this set.
Yeah, I'm with John Dean. The only place I will part ways a little bit is they can accept review. If they accept review, Steph, hopefully it will be to do to Donald Trump what they did to him in the Mazars tax litigation and say, look, sport, we told you once you're not king. You're not allowed to try to overthrow our democracy. We're telling you again, decision affirmed.
Yeah.
Hopefully that would be the only reason they would accept review.
Glenn, in your many years as a federal prosecutor, how many defendants have been dumb enough to make a PowerPoint of their crimes for you?
Let me count them up. That would be none.
I don't know what to say about this anymore. This Mark Meadows. So he possessed this insane blueprint for the military seizing ballots, yada, yada. So he abruptly decided to withdraw his cooperation right after they revealed that Meadows had provided the committee with an email containing. So he's already given this up, right? He's not only talked about it on Fox News, written a book about it, but given them documents, including this 38-page PowerPoint. It's one slide explains how the National Guard in each state would be federalized to count only legitimate paper ballots. Meanwhile, U.S. Marshals would be tasked with providing a protective perimeter around the locations. Other recommendations include declaring a national security emergency. All electronic votes would be declared invalid under the plan. A NASA astronaut was slated to lead that task force. How insane is this thing, and how damning legally?
That is Mark Meadows' version of how to overthrow a democracy for dummies, right?
Right.
It's a confession. It is a virtual confession. And the good news, Steph, is because Mark Meadows has no executive privilege to claim.
Yeah.
Plus, there's a crime fraud exception, which would compel him to testify. Plus, he has waived any lingering privilege he might have because he published a book about his conversations with Donald Trump. And the law says if you disclose something publicly, you can't then claim a privilege. So for reason after reason after reason, we could take this indictment of Steve Bannon, simply white out the name and add Mark Meadows, because that is where Mark Meadows is headed. Indictment for contempt of Congress.
Yeah. Well, you said, is it any wonder Mark Meadows is scared to testify? Looks like he had his own little Don Jr. moment. You found a way to overturn the election results? If it's what you say, I love it. It is chilling, isn't it, how exactly like Don Jr.'s remarks to the Russians were.
No doubt.
Oh, a way to cheat? We love it.
That's what Don Jr. blurted out when he found out the Russians were going to interfere and try to help Pop get elected.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. This was my other favorite tweet yesterday. Reed tweeted, they forgot the first rule of Coup Club. Don't make a PowerPoint of your coup plans.
Yeah.